first game, so we can't complain.
Yeah, exactly.
To get a little bit more games in here.
Exactly. So
As
we are
you
going to
already
remake.
said, it was very even.
We see them here on screen again. I wish if we had a replay operator on air. I just want the full Harrier face of going, oh, I got beat to 1900 or 19,000 damage. Wait, what? The instant change of emotion was amazing.
Quite the fair reaction. Let's see. I mean,
that was funny.
They're
So
also
you know
friends,
what,
as I already mentioned earlier. So I think none of them will complain about the restart.
They want. You know, they're playing this league for so long. They want when it's two bros going up against each other, they want a fair battlegrounds to be able to battle one another. And as fair as can be, here we go. Once again, we're back restarting game number 1.
We do restart. We are again in the moving game as we had earlier. This time Eamonn is also able to pan, to move. So I hope everything is fixed on this side. We are in Australia here. Driving on the left, those double white lines you see from time to time here and there. And we have some signs here, not really helpful ones, I think. Carquois is 23 away, and Mandurana, not really towns I'm familiar with, but it seems like Harrier also doesn't really know. He's trying to get a vibe down, so he knows in which region to scan. It seems like they are both just northwest of the capital, Canberra, in New South Wales.
I like how they both just stopped in this intersection and were like, you know what? I'm not going to get any more info. That road is dead and empty. The other road is dead and empty. Yeah. And here we go, starting things off with Harrier, taking a pretty decent-sized chunk of health off of Eamonn's health bar, considering that it's round number 1 and they were actually in the same part of Australia. The country is just that big.
It is, and I don't really know if that's the right approach in Australia, because I feel like soon as you exit a town, in Australia, you usually have a bigger town sign very close by, but yeah, it wasn't really inside, so sometimes it does make more sense to just scan around and hope to be lucky to find any of those place names we had. And now we are in some mountains. It should be Canada by the looks. And I don't know if we are on the Alberta side or on the British Columbia side. Well, now with that sign, it should be Alberta. We have the 403 area code thing.
It always impresses me how much info a professional GeoGuessr player has to store in their brain, which they might never use for anything.
Yep.
But then the one situation where you get that location, it has just instantly come to mind because they're on the clock. And as you can see here, Harrier making good use of it. Good hit once again, 1100 damage. On to Eamonn. We reset the game, but we might not even have had to, because Harrier is making a pretty quick deal of this fight.
Definitely, and that's where it's coming in clutch. That Harrier has practiced a lot of these area codes and stuff. And that did help here to decide on which side of the border we are, whether we are in British Columbia or Alberta. And we move on to this round, which again looks like the Americas. Hey, we have learned from earlier.
There you go, Americas.
We say Americas.
I see what you did there.
605 area code there. Is
Canada once again? Nope,
it
South Dakota.
Should be in the US. I don't think 605 is in Canada.
Eamonn going into... Eamonn locks in first, but now shaking his hand to the head as well. Not seeming too confident with the guess that he just put in, maybe.
He's looking on that tank. Usually you will find a town name on it.
Did you see something late? I mean, I'm not sure. 164 kilometers off in this type of game is pretty decent. The issue is Harrier closer once again. Maybe he got something that could have had him even closer to the spot. I'm not quite sure.
I am not sure either, but what I am sure about is that this is Peru. We have those mile markers, the striped signposts. There's some information there. Very difficult to make a guess here, because we have mountains on both sides, and it's green. We just see more towards inland, but along the stretch of the whole country as well, most of the time. Not that much greeneries in the south, though. It's more a common thing in the north, especially around Tarapoto. And if we have mountains on both sides, I think guessing around Tarapoto makes the most sense, because that's where you get those valleys with mountains on each side. I don't know if it's north or south of Tarapoto.
It is running it all the way to the end, but it's Harrier once again. Out victorious so far. A flawless performance here in the remake of game number 1. As Eamonn now sits at just over half health coming into round number 5. And again, of course, chat, as we know, there is some audio issues, so we don't have the in-game audio working right now, but it is being worked on. So fear not, everyone. It'll hopefully get fixed. Even if it doesn't, just know that it's being worked on to be fixed.
Yeah. We had to sacrifice the game audio to get those statistics in. Which
that's what it was.
Cannot complain about.
Yeah, you only get one, both. Guys. If you want more stats, you lose the webcams. That's how it works. We can only have 3 things at a time.
Yep. And we have some
the limitations of the internet.
California road lines here, and it looks pretty deserty, mountainous. So we should be somewhere along, that stretch.
Wow. I mean, Harrier is
right on it, on the right road.
Against most other opponents, Eamonn would have been having himself a pretty good game so far, but Harrier has just played absolutely incredibly thus far as we once again go west. But whereabouts are we?
Yeah, we are in Panama, and we have this horizontal sticker on the pole, which means we are somewhere west of the capital of Panama City, because anything in Panama City and east of it will have a vertical sticker, and if you see a horizontal yellow sticker on the poles, you are more towards the west of the country, which you see here, the yellow sticker I was talking about on Eamonn's screen. That does help to rule out the east pretty much.
They both have pretty much the same info so far. They've gone up the same road. Harrier is a bit further ahead now, getting, obviously Panama, literally in writing. That helps you in case you were wondering which country you're in, but he has a lot more info available now to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. I can't really get out where the needed one is. It's pretty small, but Harrier, again, in the right area, but Eamonn is always there with the right vibes, but just not getting close enough to deal some damage back. And now we are in Indonesia.
Oh, we got a prediction going.
Some predictions. Seems like Eamonn has the upper hand in Indonesia.
Even if it's only 200 points worth of upper hand, Eamonn needs everything he can get going his way, and so far, well, at least he's the first one to lock it in. We'll see if he feels good about his guess here. There's a lot of info potentially up on that gateway to the city, I would imagine. So now Harrier getting in towards Medan, a bit east thereof, and it is going to be him closer once again. He even looked surprised, and that you can see Eamonn looked happy with it initially, but Harrier just cannot be touched. It's into round 8, and Harrier has not lost a single round. That goes to show how hard Eamonn has been fighting to lose or to not fall out on this.
Definitely.
Insane.
We had North Sumatra specific polls there, but after that you still have to guess within North Sumatra, which isn't too easy most of the times. And we are in round 8 here. We have some French language on the sign, a couple of wineries. It's interesting to see. You see that more towards the south, southeast, southwest. But this
that sign did not say Vienna, guys. Don't feel baited.
I mean, by the looks, if you ignore a lot of things, I could see a Vienna here. If you ignore a lot of things.
If you ignore the country, the lack of mountains, if you just close your eyes, it could look like Vienna. Yeah. I agree.
That it does work, but yeah, we should be somewhere in France. And as I said, with those wineries, we have a 04 area code as well, which is southeast.
I mean,
just outside Lyon, and Harrier is untouchable right now.
I feel so bad for Eamonn. He's within 50 kilometers on almost all his guesses, but Harrier is just absolutely dialed in right now. It's completely insane. Round 9, Eamonn needs Harrier to make the biggest mistake of his life in order to have a chance at making this. Are we going into a round 10 win with Harrier at 6k? I cannot recall having ever seen that before. Because usually when it's a flawless game, it's done way earlier.
Yeah, we had a lot of rounds where the rough area was easy to get. A lot of times we had good clues to get the regions. And would you look at that. Finally striking back a little bit. Good for the mental.
And now we get the Russia round where he wins it.
We are on the final round. And Eamonn somehow has to get 5,730 damage.
Wow.
Done.
Is it possible here with this location? He's got to go all in on this. Just insta-guess it.
It is
exactly.
Germany, but...
YOLO, my friend.
I think if you click middle, and it isn't somewhere on the right border of the country, and I don't think it is. Yeah. Harrier won't lose.
Go for the west area. Make it interesting for the viewers. Now he's going to hedge it.
This is not going to be far north, and this is also not going to be far south.
And he's going to be closer with it, too.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll almost give it to Harrier. That one was pretty much flawless.
Yeah.
Round
definitely.
10 win with 5.7k health. You know what? We gave him the remake, but holy smokes, what a performance from Harrier in that moving game.
Yeah, very, very strong. I mean, not much Eamonn can do, I would say. Eamonn did play pretty strong, but Harrier was just on it. And we have some information here. Let me read it.
Okay, humble brag. Oh, let me just read what that says.
Well, I couldn't make it in time. I always go letter by letter. Takes a little bit.
Especially when there's so many of them. Doesn't make it any easier.
First
Free internet if you subscribe
S,
on Twitch. That's what I heard. Oh, wait, what?
Could be Sanimganj. I forgot how that district was named.
And there you go. Eamonn.
It was Eamonn. Okay.
The better way this time around. 58 damage. Not a whole lot, but bragging rights going his way. At least he's ahead now. We'll see if he can keep it up all the way through this no-move game. Oh, wow.
We're in South Africa. Good thing
what
we
sent you to South Africa?
See that the signs are on the left, so we know we are in a left-drive country. And these red and white chevrons, you wouldn't see them in Australia, which is another country you would consider with driving left. And also in Australia, you get diamond signs, like the yellow, American-looking signs. You get them more in the Americas, the yellow and the diamond signs. But yeah, with that given, we know we can rule out Australia, so we should be in South Africa. But besides that, not very much aware with. Could this being northeast, but this could also be somewhere inland. And that's also the split they have. But it was indeed northeast.
There we go. Even closer once again.
Yeah.
And he got this one in the last round. Yeah, exactly. And he got this one in the last round of the previous game. Then he would have won it. But not quite to be. At least this time around, he's up by almost double the health coming into round number 3.
Yep, that is a very good lead. And we get the predictions in. Let me get the country first here. We have, look at that. I thought of Spain, Italy. But with this guardrail, this road, this leads me more towards Italy.
This can't be Italy, because I'm not seeing a Fiat Punto coming down this road with 100 kilometers an hour.
Well, I assume if we get right around the corner, if we go right around the corner, I could imagine there being one. This is an interesting valley. Yes, is it the Po Valley in the north? I don't think so. But yeah, could be some inland valley. But a valley this big?
It's pretty cool.
It doesn't
so high
look alpine
and
as
it
well.
just looks flat as far as you can see. We'll see. Time is up.
It was
Time is out, and Eamonn is on point once again. They have completely flipped the script on this one, and now into round 4. Harrier is just sitting above 1100 health. You can see him talking to himself, chanting some, come on, man, you can do this. You just played such a good game. Don't give Eamonn the flawless in return now.
No, he does not want that, and we have an Argentinian plate there on that car with the black dot on it, which makes getting the country here pretty easy, because without it, you would need to think a little bit about it, I guess. But good thing we have that car to help us out. Now with the country given, it looks like the western side. It is pretty dry, at least the soil. And we have some what we call Mendoza trees, because these trees are very common in Mendoza. But you can definitely also find them further north in the country. Which I don't think those are poplar trees. But they look like them, so I will call them poplar trees.
There you go. Letting it run all the way down to the end.
I hope they are not mad at me.
I don't think they will be. Let's see who's going to get it this time around. Finally, Harrier able to strike home. It was looking like a flawless win for Eamonn, but not quite the case. Could still be a win, but it's not done just yet. Harrier able to strike back, sending Eamonn down 1,300 health. And now, coming into round 5, we go back towards the, I was going to say, are we back in Panama again?
You are right with it. We are in Panama, and this one is quite close to bigger-ish mountains, which you see a lot in the north, but not only. I would say Panama is pretty difficult to guess based on the terrain you have around you, because you have a lot of like small mountain ridges, big mountain ridges here and there.
So we get double Taiwan in the previous game, and then we get Guatemala into double Panama here, and Harrier now sat with just 24 health left in this one. Eamonn wants to tie it up. He wants to go into NMPC, and it could happen right here, because info is very scarce here now.
Eamonn clicked in the middle of the mountains. I think if you went just a little bit further south, where you actually have those roads,
a pixel closer,
you
would have
could
been
have
good.
Closed it out. Let's hope he's still locked in and not mad about that.
Considering
looks like we
France,
are in
what
France,
are you thinking here?
Especially with that low sign that we have here, just standing there, right next to the tree. We have Eamonn looking on it.
Are you feeling like 100% that we're in France?
99.
Okay, Harrier is there with you. Going down towards the southwest. Eamonn still yet to lock in. Got another 5 seconds to consider. I mean, he can be 2 meters off and still end up doing more than 24 damage. They're almost like almost on top of one another. Let's see who's gonna get it. Oh, it's gonna be Eamonn by a bit.
Other side, but is that enough? It will be.
It is. 13 kilometers was all that he needed to bring this one home, and now we go into NMPC. What a turnaround! I thought with how great Harrier played in that previous one, he was just gonna swiftly 2-0 this. But Eamonn, I mean, he fought. That's what we were saying. Even in the moving round that he lost, he was so good with his guesses. Harrier was just that much better. But this time around, a few slip-ups from Harrier, and Eamonn playing incredibly well, sends him into first, and now we're in NMPC.
We are indeed in NMPC. This looks interesting. I could see a Greece. I could see a Italy.
Yeah?
The road looks...
But Mediterranean.
Yeah, definitely. That's my vibe. Could be even on Sardinia or something. But
remember, guys, this is all they get, a still image, and then they can move their faces closer to the screen if they want to zoom. We
have a Turkey guess from Eamonn.
Okay. Still Mediterranean.
I can't really make out the pavement because there's a lot of sand over it, but still on the side you can see that's not really the typical Turkish pavement you get. We don't really have the sprinkles on it. Therefore, I did lean more towards Greece, Italy.
Eamonn is jumping back and forth. He's considering hedging this, I think. Just jumping straight into the water, saying, I'm not going to win this, but at least I won't lose that much, regardless of whether it's one side or the other. They are on each their side of the water, and it's actually not the Mediterranean, and it's the Black Sea.
Well, with water south, you don't really think of the east coast in Bulgaria, but you have some angles where you look south towards the water there, which we had all the way there on the north. But in hindsight, that pavement really, really looked Bulgarian, I can't lie.
Yeah.
But didn't really think of it given the looks around it.
Eamonn sends it straight to Scotland, at least initially. Are you liking the vibe, the hunch up here?
Yeah, it looks quite more northern, but it's only one building to make that guess based on, really. And if you trust the building, it does look a bit more northern rather than southern. In the UK, we have a northern island. Plonk? No, he's actually an island.
I thought it was France for a second, but that's why I'm not a professional player.
Oh,
they're in each their side.
Well, I don't think we have blue stripes on the plate.
Yeah, so I was gonna say I can't tell where the steering wheel is in the car either.
And
but
also
here we go,
the
Ireland.
skate on the side is very British.
Yeah,
or Irish.
Skate. Yeah. Harrier locked in, so is Eamonn, and Eamonn was right in his hunch that it was on the eastern side, and a decent chunk, 1100 at that, damage towards Harrier.
Yeah, he's not happy. I don't think he cares about the points. I think it's more about guessing Ireland as a British player, when it was indeed the UK.
Yeah.
But it does happen. It does happen a lot, especially in those two countries. Those toss-ups do happen. And here we have some cacti on a gravel road, driving through mountains. Now, it could be... I mean, with those three features, you think of Mexico, Chile, Brazil can happen sometimes.
What I heard from what you just said is that those countries have quite a distance in between them.
Yep, definitely. But I would say Argentina makes the most sense here with everything else.
North? I can't quite tell. Compass looks a bit towards the northwest.
Say so. It's always better.
North, right?
Never use the sun to measure where you are. Look at the shadows, because it was indeed Chile. Yeah.
That could have been a big game for both of them.
Yeah. It's really hard to commit Chile. Yeah. Because there aren't too many roads. I mean, nowadays there are, but it is fairly recent coverage.
Trained in the same school of GeoGuessr, and they both get their guesses close to one another. As Eamonn now once again goes South America, this time around into Uruguay. What tells him Uruguay? Yeah, they're both going to go there.
It is the pole, the trident pole in the distance. Yeah, that one you see in Uruguay rather than Argentina, yeah.
Okay, definitely. So if you're thinking South America, and you see that pole, instantly go Uruguay, and they're both going to be on it. And look at this. Eamonn maintaining his flawless performance here, sending Harrier down under 3K. You can see him now going, come on, man, we're starting to lose this one.
And I will need to think again here. 24. Oh, wow. I mean, the pavement looks almost like Texas. Is it a gravel road, or is it just pavement with some gravel?
It looks very gravelly.
I'm not sure. Well, what does the sun say? I said it earlier, I always use the shadows. It looks like the shadows are coming from the south. So the sun is south. Or the shadow is pointing to the north, so the sun is south. That way around. Yeah, which makes this an easier guess, or easier to commit to the US, and it is Nevada.
Yeah, okay.
That is a lot of points,
That's what can happen when you play an NPC. You think, aha, I'm up by 3,000 health, and just like that, swung, and you're back to pretty much even scores. As we now go into round number 6, a nice little forest here, but this too could be pretty much anywhere.
Yes, what do we consider here? I mean, I could see Croatia, I could see Czechoslovakia, Hungary. It shouldn't be Baltics. I don't think the vegetation fits for Baltics. So, yeah, somewhere in Eastern Europe, I feel like. Yeah, it was Hungary.
Hungary. Okay, so a big hit onto Harrier, and just like that. After an almost flawless moving round. That was the warm-up that the Demon Eamonn needed in order to swing it around and brings it home. And Harrier, you feel like